Now, the City of Johannesburg, in partnership with the Soweto Theatre, will present a concert tribute to legendary musician Babsy Mlangeni next weekend. It will feature musicians Brian Temba, Mabuse, and others who will contribute to retelling Babsy's musical journey, history and legacy through music. The concert will be held at the Gibson Kenter Auditorium next Saturday and Sunday. Jazz musician and we hopefuls will be there. We're now joined by Brian Temba, who will be speaking to us about this musical. And of course, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. It's a concert essentially in honor of a legend. I understand it's in its second year running. Talk to us about this musical and its significance.
Look, personally, this initiative by the Joburg Theatre and Soweto Theatre is actually on point, because we honor people when they've passed, you know, and I just feel that honoring Babsy Mlangeni while he's still alive, while he can see young people performing his songs, you know, with love, we have to honor him in that way. And I just think this musical, with great musicians, old school musicians, with Sipho Ngoma as the musical director, and me and Mabuse is an incredible vocalist. And I just think me and him being the lead on the show is actually, you know, I think they chose us because our voices match that of Babsy Mlangeni. But I feel like the initiative is actually beautiful, and I think all of them need to be honored. Babsy Mlangeni, Steve Kekana, and all of them need to be honored, and this is just in honor of him.
Yeah.
It's also beautiful performing his songs. Some of them I didn't even know, you know. And I'm singing this song and I'm thinking, hey man, R&B, R&B, and it's just like, you know, I'm singing these songs and I relate to them so much musically and lyrically. You know, so it's beautiful to honor them in that way.
What have your rehearsals been like? I mean, as you encounter these songs and really, you know, connect with them before going on stage?
Oh, no, they've been amazing. They've been absolutely amazing. I mean, we've been rehearsing. Yesterday, we actually rehearsed with a band for the first time. We were rehearsing with keyboard players. And we have Complete. There's a group called Complete. I think it's a four-man group. And they are the choir, you know, if I were to say, they are the choir of the play, and having them doing backing vocals and us leading, it's just absolutely incredible. I think people are going to love what we have to give actually next weekend.
And what has your experience been like working with legendary Sipho Hotstix Mabuse?
Oh, man. Oh, he's a slave driver. No, I'm joking. Yeah. No, he's quite particular. He's quite, you know, he knows what he wants. And he knows, obviously, he's played with Babsy for a long time. And even in the olden days, they've played together. So he knows what needs to go into the show and how the show needs to be. So it's been amazing. And also learning from them. You know, you never stop learning. So I learned from him a lot. Actually, with what he wants, his musicality and everything, I've learned a lot. It was amazing working with him. It's amazing working with him.
Yeah. And what about your encounters with Babsy Mlangeni? I mean, I know that he's a very passionate and determined kind of man, especially, you know, speaking and being very vocal about, you know, being marginalized as a man with a disability in the music industry, being a blind man. I mean, he's been very vocal about how things need to change and how the change would, in all essence, really have a huge impact on others living with disabilities and tremendously talented.
For me, look, I haven't met him particularly as yet. We're yet to meet him next week. I've seen him from afar, you know, at award shows and everything else, and I've admired him obviously because of his music. But for me, I would say that I respect him. I respect him having a disability of that sort, but yet being able to sing and yet being able to do what God has given him, you know, without confinement, without a compromise. For me, I respect him for that. Like, I honor him for that, because sometimes we as people, we look at our disabilities and think, I can't do anything else. But he didn't look at that. And he was vocal as well in the struggle and all of those, even Babsy Hotstix. They've been vocal with what they want and what they didn't want, But him particularly, being a disabled man, it's admirable. It's respectful. I respect him and I admire him for what he does and what he's written, musically.
Yeah. Perhaps now would be a good time to bring us into some of your rehearsals. You say you have some songs that you didn't know even existed. Yeah. I mean, just a teaser of what we can expect next week.
Oh, my God. You want me to sing? Oh, my Lord. You're killing me, Paul.
Sing!
Ah, there he is.
The slave driver you were talking about is on with us. Mabuse, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll give him time to warm up a bit, but let's rope you into the conversation. What has this experience been like, just putting it all together, and of course having known Babsy Mlangeni for quite a while? Talk to us about this concert.
Good morning, Paul. Good morning. Hey, Brian, and good morning to all your viewers. Paul, for me, the advantage is that having known someone for well over 2 decades, 5 decades basically, let me put it that way, is that you have the ability to navigate certain challenges that they have. I mean, Babsy for me represents something that I've always admired in people who we consider disabled. The advantage also is that I have known his music, I've played with him, I've toured with him. So naturally it makes it probably not as difficult as it would for the rest of the other musicians. There's a tendency to believe that pop music is very easy. Pop music is never easy. It is when you find those who think they are more educated having to play that music, find it difficult to navigate through the music that we've been making. But thankfully, working with Sipho Ngoma and people like Fana Zulu, the experience. I mean, Brian is a young singer, but the experience and the reliability of his presence makes it all easier for us to be able to make the songs the way we should.
Yeah. You speak about the challenges, and one can almost not even begin to imagine what those challenges would mean for a man with a disability who's spoken quite extensively about being marginalized for being disabled as a talented man who has a lot to really contribute to the musical space. What have your conversations with him been about his disability, being a blind man, and how that has over the years impacted his career?
Perhaps he's never one to complain about his disability. There's one thing I can tell you, that it's never something that comes into a conversation. When you speak to a Babsy sitting down and you talk about things, the first thing he's going to sing. The first thing he's going to do, I beg your pardon, is to sing. He's never really complained about disability. He's lived through it for over 8 years. So I don't imagine that it is something that he should now always be complaining about.
Yeah.
But yes, be that as it may, I still believe that we could do much better. And thankfully to the Joburg City and Koliswa, James will celebrate Ray Charles. It's about time we celebrated a Babsy Mlangeni, who has written so many songs, who has created so much money for a record company called CCP. So it's time that we celebrated him.
Yeah. We were chanting, you and I, for Brian to sing just before I say goodbye. I heard you say sing. I think, Brian, give us a teaser. What can we expect?
Please not?
You can't be shy.
We'll come to the concert, it's fine. We'll let you off the hook this time. But, gentlemen, I'm going to thank you both. Thank you so much for your time and really just giving us a picture of what we can expect at this incredible musical, which is set to come up next week. Perhaps give us some details before we let you go on where and how people can make sure that they participate and come and see this concert?
Brian?
Oh, I thought you would do that. Okay. I think we are at Soweto Theatre from for 2 days, right? For the 5th and the 6th. And I think people can get the tickets. They can go on the website, the City of Joburg. What's this? Joburg Theatre website or Soweto Theatre website. They can get tickets from there, and all the information of the show. But it's on the 6th, on the 5th, and on the 6th of August. So. Yeah, we look forward to seeing everybody. I think people are going to love this thing, man. It's just beautiful. Musically and everything else. It's just incredible. Let
me thank you both for your time. That was musician Brian Temba and composer and musical director, composer Sipho Hotstix Mabuse, speaking about a concert lined up for next week. Of course,